Talk Time with Little Scholars every Saturday. Come hear the scholars. We learn, we laugh, and we share our minds from peace building to technology, education, current affairs, and social life. Find us on YouTube, Upperboards, and SoundCloud. We have got big ideas just waiting for you. With voices young and stories bold, together we shine, together we grow. It's Talk Time with Little Scholars. This is a project of Excellence Foundation for South Sudan. Let's build a world where young minds flow.
The Parliament, educated judges, respected opponents, the farmers and negators, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Talma Kumaku from Primary 5 class, and I am here to affirm the resolution which is well stated that African culture should be abolished. I affirm the resolution 100% because of my following reason. So, Honorable Presiding Officer, may you allow me to go through my views, but before I go through my views, may you allow me to define the key term of the resolution? Ladies and gentlemen, Africans are people who are originated from Africa. Culture is the habit of a particular society or nation. It is a helping back. He is a helping back. Abolish means to stop or end something by law. Ladies and gentlemen, I am done with the key term. First and foremost, I would like to talk of cattle raiding. Ladies and gentlemen, cattle raiding has become the rampart in many parts of Africa among the pathologist communities in countries like South Sudan, Kenya, Uganda, and Nigeria, where cattle keepers possess modern weapons. The cattle keepers face high risk of fire insecurity, death, making them to flee their homes and losing access to services and land for cultivation. For this reason, this is why I strongly affirm the resolution by saying that African culture should be abolished. I hand this one through a table of Mr. Honorable Chairperson, recorded by the educated judges, and back to the audience. To keep the room hot and hottest, I would like to talk of female genital mutilations. Ladies and gentlemen, female genital mutilation, this refers to the removals of the female external genital organ for non-medical reasons or controls of females or control of sexuality has a risk of passage. This causes pain, trauma, chronic infection, child complications, and sexual pleasure and violations of human rights. For this reason, this is why I strongly affirm the resolution by saying that African culture should be abolished. I hand this one through a table of Mr. Honorable Chairperson, recorded by the educated judges, and back to the audience. In my summary, I have talked about the following: cattle raiding. Ladies and gentlemen, what I mean is that cattle raiding has become the rampart in many parts of Africa among the pathologist communities. Not just only that, but I want to talk of female genital mutilations. Ladies and gentlemen, female genital mutilations, this refers to the removals of the female external organ for non-medical reasons or controls of female sexual pleasure. Conclusively, I would like to conclude by saying that dear negators, I will never leave this motion until Jesus Christ comes and choose me and say that you are the President of the Republic of South Sudan without corruption, to build the bridges and dams and bring higher plane to South Sudan. But not just higher plane of people who are dying every day. Once again, I want to recognize the table of Mr. Honorable Chairperson, the Presiding Officer, the Secretary with the pen holder, the judges who are the board of Brussels. Thank you very much. It's our time for the two and to look inside what waiting for their right. One has go to my dear invited school class with the pupils of St. Paul Nursery and Primary School. Ladies and gentlemen, I beg to raise my case and thanks for God bless you all.
Ladies and gentlemen, take a white girl like me to be a winner for the full labor. As today is my hobby. I always get interested in this such as you may like topical issues of today. Before I feed you more, I would like to salute the table of Mr. Honorable Chairperson who is a presiding officer, the Secretary is a pen holder, the judges who are the body of judiciary, time keepers who manage our time, plus the two champions who are debating for their rights. While not forgetting you, my dear distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Angelina Adut Akech. I am in primary 7 class and I am here to negate the resolution which is strongly stated that African culture should be cancelled. I negate the resolution 100% because of my following views. Honorable moderator, allow me to introduce my team. Ladies and gentlemen, the first debater from negator side today is Angelina Adut Akech, the one in front of you. Second debater is Atiai Mayong. Lastly, Ayan Lalika one. First of all, I would like to define the key terms of the resolution. Ladies and gentlemen, African people of African origin. Shoot is a helping verb. Cultures are appreciation art such as music, music, and many others. Abolish mean to put an end to something. First of all, Honorable Moderator, before I move forward, allow me to correct a word that was said by Makur instead of abolish. He said that abol. So it's not abol, but abolish. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to talk of cultural heritage. Ladies and gentlemen, African cultures contribute immensely to the global diversity. They offer unique on the arts such as music and many others that can enrich the global cultural landscape. Therefore, I can tell you that to abolish these cultures, it would diminish the variety of human expression and experience that is essential for a vibrant global society. Honorable Moderator, may you allow me to show my evidence to the judges? Ladies and gentlemen, these are South Sudanese cultures compared to the Western world, whereby people use tattoo on their bodies, which cause diseases like cancer. For example, do you know 6ix9ine from America? 6ix9ine from America, he died because of tattoo. Is it good for us? I think the answer is good. Honorable Moderator, before we're dancing here, it is because our culture is good. If it was bad, we are not supposed to dance. For this reason, I hand the point through the table, Mr. Honorable Moderator, recorded by the educated judges and back to the audience. To continue with, allow me to talk of diversity. And global contribution. Ladies and gentlemen, African cultures represent a rich cultural heritage. For this reason, I say that we should not abolish these cultures now. Before, all the freedom they were dancing is because our culture is good. Is it bad? When people were dancing, is it bad? And we compare to Western world, whereby people can wear high school. You just dance, you just move like this. If it is compared to Africa, but there are some cultures, if you move like this with short skirt, you bend down. Is it good to see your private part? No. It's not good. Ladies and gentlemen, I hand the point through the table, Mr. Honorable Moderator. The court, thank for your honing. Noted judges and back to the audience. In my summary, I have talked of the following: diversity and global contribution. Lastly, is cultural heritage and identities. In my conclusion, I would like to conclude by saying that to practice these cultures, it's not good. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you better live as if you were to die tomorrow. Live as if you were to live forever. As it was said by Mohandas Gandhi from India. I beg to rest my case and thank. May God bless you all.
I would like to recognize the high table of moderator, Nustanographer, timer, Apamas, Nugators, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mary Malo from Standard 5 class, here to affirm the resolution which is correctly stated that African culture should be abolished. I affirm the resolution 100% because of my following views. Honorable Presiding Officer, may you allow me to go through my points of argument? First and foremost, I would like to talk of forced marriage. Ladies and gentlemen, the marriage of a child, usually a girl under 18, to an old man driven by traditional property. This leads to devastation of human rights by denying personal happiness, leading to serious health rights and ending educational opportunities for a girl. For this reason, that is why I strongly affirm the resolution by saying that African culture should be abolished. I hand this point to the table moderator by educated judges and back to you, my audience. To keep the sign shining, I would like to talk of forced sterilization rights. Ladies and gentlemen, many sterilization rights are positive and some are harmful. For example, marking of the bodies, foreheads among Dinkas, Nuer, Shuluk, and many other communities in South Sudan as a right of percentages against their will. This can lead to serious injuries, infection, dehydration, trauma, misdeterminations of human rights. For this reason, that is why I strongly affirm the resolution by saying that African culture should be abolished. I hand this point to the table moderator by the educated judges and back to you, my audience. In my summary, I have talked of the following. Forced marriage. Ladies and gentlemen, what I really mean here is that the marriage of a child, usually a girl under 18, to an old man bride by traditional property. Not only that, but I have also talked of forced sterilization rights. Ladies and gentlemen, what I really mean here is that many sterilization rights are positive and some are harmful. Conclusively, I would like to conclude by saying that, dear negators, it's better for you to come and kneel behind us by telling us that we agree African culture should be abolished. Once again, I would like to recognize the high table moderator, stenographer, timer, affirmers, negators, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I beg to raise my case and thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Mayor Maku. The servicing times I would like to call upon the speaker from the negator side, who is none other than Honorable Atiye Mayor. Honorable Atiye, it's your time to come and take this.
Ladies and gentlemen, take a wise girl like me to be a winner but a fool never. As weight is my hobby, I always get interested in this judgment like tropical issues of today. Before I feed you more, I would like to greet the table of Mr. Honorable Chairperson, who is the presiding officer, the secretary, who is the pen holder, and the judges, who is the board of judiciary, and the timekeeper who manages our time, plus the two antagonistic sides who are debating for their right. Why am I not forgetting you, my dear learners of today and the leaders of tomorrow? Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Atiye Mayor. I am in the standard 7th class here to get a resolution which is stated that African culture should be abolished. And I get resolution 100% because of my following views. Honorable presiding officer, may you allow me to go through my views? First and foremost, I like to talk about culture. We Africans, we are trying to leave our cultures and focus on their fake cultures, for which is not good. We better practice our culture rather than practicing this fake culture. Our small boys nowadays are taking drugs abuse, but in our African traditional society, we are not taught to take drugs abuse. Mr. Honorable presiding officer, may I allow me to show my evidence to the judges? These are the boys who are taking drug abuse. They're even injecting themselves with the drug, for which is not good. In our African traditional society, we are not addicted to this habit. I hand the point to the table of Mr. Honorable moderator, voted by the judges, and back to the audience. To give the point volume, I like to debate some of the points he was talking about the previous speaker. The previous speaker was talking about forced marriage. My dear sister, if they did not force you to go for early marriage, it is your choice. If you want early marriage or you want forced marriage, it is your choice. Nowadays, you say that an old man can just give birth for 2, 6, or 3. I hand the point to the table of Mr. Honorable moderator, recorded by the judges, and back to the audience. In my summary, I have talked about culture, forced marriage, and in my summary, I have talked. In my conclusion, my dear farmers, you better come and line behind me that how can you avoid your own culture and focus on this Western world's culture? For this reason, you better focus on our culture. I beg to raise my case.
Okay, I would like to call upon the last speaker from the farmer side, who is none other than Honorable Laura Jackbiar.
In my first place, I would like to send my excellent greeting to Mr. Honorable Chairperson, the Secretary, Judge, Timekeeper, plus the two competing sides who are debating for. Why not forgetting you, my dear, we think you ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Alor. I am in primary 5 class and I'm here to affirm resolution by saying that African culture should be abolished. I support this motion 100% because it's my following. Mr. Chairperson, may allow me to go through my phone. In my first point, I would like to talk about high bride price. Ladies and gentlemen, the practice where the groom or his family pay a certain amount of cattle or money to the bride's family as a traditional symbol of officiation has become a source of it. This led to administration can play the financial burden, and a groom will need a woman being treated as property discount domestic via marital instability. That's why I strongly affirm resolution by saying that African culture should be abolished. I have this point through the table of Mr. Honorable Chairperson, bear the judges, and back to the audience. With the sun shining, I would like to talk about discriminatory food taboo. Ladies and gentlemen, specific food taboo exists in many communities across Africa, mostly targeting pregnant women, breastfeeding mothers and children, forbidding them from eating food like eggs, meat, or fish. This leads to menstruation, anemia, poor maternal and child health outcomes. This increase sickness to mothers and children. In summary, I have talked about hybrid. That's why I strongly affirm resolution by saying that African culture should be abolished. I hand this point through the table of Mr. Honorable Chairperson, bear the judges, and back to the one. In summary, I have talked about high price and discriminatory food taboo. In my conclusion, I would like to conclude by saying that Kia Negeta is better to come alive behind me by saying that African culture should be abolished. Once again, I would like to salute the table and Mr. Honorable Chairperson, the Secretary, Jai Timekeeper, plus the two competing sides who are debating for that. I beg to learn myself.
Now we are coming to the last part of without wasting time. I would like to call upon Honorable Ellis, welcome.
Let the protocol remain observed. My name is Ayana Lik, primary 7th class. I'm here to negate the solution that says that African culture should be abolished. Ladies and gentlemen, I negate the solution 100% because of my following views. Honorable Chairperson, allow me go through my points of argument. But before I go further, allow me to rebuttal the previous speaker who just came and talk about mark on the head. Ladies and gentlemen, the reason why South Sudanese always mark their head is because for easy identification, so they know themselves that this is one finger. As a midnight, to go to the chairperson, where the judge and back to the audience. To keep that rotating, allow me to talk of cultural dance. Ladies and gentlemen, Africans are the one who have the most beautiful cultural dance in the world, especially South Sudan, where we have Arab state dance, Nuer dance, and Pajuru dance, and among others. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to ask my dear farmers my question. What is the reason of dancing cultural dance in school? I need 5 answers for my question. And this is my evidence. These are the beautiful cultures that I was talking about. I submit my points and evidence to the chairperson, then the judge, and back to the audience. In summary, I am talking of cultural dance. In conclusion, I would like to conclude by saying that, dear farmers, what you are doing is not good. Better you just come and oppose this motion. I've never listened to any person from Western world saying that our own culture should be abolished. Now you are the one who likes saying this nonsense. Me, I don't like this thing. Try it next time. Ladies and gentlemen, I, John Makur, talk of cattle raising and female genital mutilation. The second speaker talk of high breast price, discriminatory food taboo. The third speaker talk of post-marriage and self-immunization rights. Ladies and gentlemen, this come to the end of the summaries of primary 5 class. I beg to raise my case.
Okay, I would like to call upon the main speaker from the negative side to come and summarize the points of in 4 minutes time.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am here to summarize. So we have talked of the following points. But before I summarize, I want to rebut one of the points that was presented by Mary Malo. She was talking about forced marriage. My sister, yes, why do we make forced marriage? It is because when a girl gets old, we just give us to 2 children. And since you know that an educated population is very essential for economic growth, innovation, and social stability. Ladies and gentlemen, we have talked of the following points: diversity and global contribution, cultural heritage and identity. Lastly, cultural dance. Lastly is culture. Ladies and gentlemen, I beg to raise my case and thanks.
You have been listening to Talk Time with Little Scholars, where young minds speak loud and proud. Catch us every Saturday on YouTube, Afrobots, and SoundCloud, brought to you by the Excellence Foundation for South Sudan, giving children a voice, one episode at a time.